Welcome to today's episode of the DDC Podcast. I'm your host, Daniela Del Carpio, and I'm so happy to have you join me on this journey of unlocking your true potential. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of this podcast. Today we have an amazing guest with us. Her name is Alyssa. She's an online coach. She helps women to lose weight. She's also a bodybuilder, and she also works full-time, which I thought was an amazing time, a perfect time to do a podcast with her because this woman's amazing. She does everything, and she's also prepping for a show, which is why we want to share with you guys, because I want to motivate you. I want to help you to reach your fitness goals. And what a better person than Alyssa to tell us all about her journey, how she's getting ready for a show, how she makes time for work, how she makes time for her side hustles, and how she makes time for her relationship, because she also has a partner. She also has commitments. She also has a life. So let me stop talking and let's let Alyssa introduce herself. So hello, Alyssa. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Well, thank you so much for that welcome. I feel like you pretty much covered it all. Like you just described perfectly to a T.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you said, like doing a lot at the moment, same as you, like online coach, but I am a primary school teacher as well. Yeah, trying to juggle that and prepping for a show as well. So I've been competing for a few years now. So it's a really big goal of mine. So I still make sure that obviously it's a priority, but there's other things as well that I feel like you can make priority more than one thing, not just like people say priorities. It's like, oh, I can't do something because it's not a priority. So this podcast will be really good to show that it's all about how you structure your day and balance and whatnot. I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with how you introduced it. Yeah, that's pretty much me. And I hope that everyone gets a lot from this podcast.
I love that. Yeah. I love how you mentioned about like scheduling and like prioritizing, because that's something I always say, like, if you know how to schedule your day, if you can schedule your week, that's going to make your life much, much easier. Because I always hear people complaining about, I don't have time. I have too much going on. I have kids. I have this, I have that. And I do get it. Like we all have things to do. We all have families. We all have job things to do and things like that. But it's how you organize your time and what you do with your time that will help you reach your goals. So let's get started first with that. Like, tell us how you organize your week or maybe your day to help you ensure that you get everything done.
Yes, so I'm a big person, like you said before, I like to do it by week, only because I find doing it day by day, it's quite hard. It's something that it's like an extra thing that you have to do each day. So I really like, and I really promote this as well, like on a Sunday, really set up your week and set it up like appointments. Like it's the same with anything that you have, like a doctor's appointment or something that you book. You're not going to miss it. It's at this time and you're going to do it. So I feel like if you plan your schedule out like appointments, you're more likely to stick to it. And people, they kind of listen to this and they're kind of like, oh, they hear the idea, but they're like, I don't know, it kind of sounds a bit cliche. But until they actually try it and they've actually noted it down, they're like, wow, it actually works, because you're like, no, I can't miss it. Like I scheduled it in for this day, for this time, and obviously things happen during the week that are out of your control. So I don't necessarily put a set time, but I will just have, this is what I'm going to do Monday. This is what I'm going to do Tuesday. And it's like a checklist. So I find that helps a lot. And I find setting it up for the Sunday, you're less likely to fall off track. And set it up for the whole week, making sure you can fit it in, and then thinking about other things. Like, for example, for me, on a Wednesday, I have a staff meeting at school, so I have to stay back. So I factor that in as well. Okay, Wednesday might be a rest day for me, for example. So I feel like people have to really look at their lifestyle and where they can fit it in, because then people also go wrong where they plan too much and it's too overwhelming for them. So you've really got to pick, okay, I'm going to dedicate this day for workouts, this day for maybe going for a walk, and just having that schedule. So I like to do it by week. And I always tell, all the girls that I work with, plan it on the Sunday for the week, because I feel like if you go in day to day, it's the same thing we're talking about with like the whole nutrition side, planning your meals day to day. It's so hard. It's very overwhelming. You're probably not going to stick to it. So yeah, I really like the whole weekly planning. I think you really set up for success with that. Yeah.
It's a really good point how you mentioned, like, if you do it on a daily basis, that's just going to add something else to your day. And then you're more likely not to get it done because it's going to be like, oh, this is too much. I'll just get it done next time or next week or whatever. But I also like how you mentioned you plan your week for your week. So like Monday to Sunday, not only Monday to Friday, because I feel like sometimes, and I have made this mistake myself, I used to plan my week only Monday to Friday, and then weekends will be like, all over the place. I will wake up at whatever time and then do my things at whatever time. And I just didn't have a good schedule. And I feel like I was wasting my time. I was like, I can be doing so many things right now, but because I have nothing to schedule, it's easier for me to go off track. So I do think like planning it Monday to Sunday, just how we say, like, if you stick to your programs, it has to be Monday to Sunday. There's no breaks on the weekend. I think, that's a really good point that you mentioned. So if you guys are listening to this, make sure you plan it Monday to Sunday.
Yes, Monday, Sunday. And like you will see, like with a lot of people, some people are so good at planning or sticking to their plan Monday to Friday. It's the weekend where a lot of people fall off track because they don't have a plan. And look, I get that some people, they want to have that more relaxed approach on the weekend. So I get that side of it, but also you want to have some sort of plan, because if you go in, it's like with anything, if you go in blind, that's where you're going to really get yourself off track. And then it's like picking up the pieces for the next week. And like even with food prep, like I've made the mistake before where you prep till the Friday and then you're like, oh, what am I going to eat Sunday?
It's the weekend. It's the weekend.
Convenience. Get this or get that. So I feel like as well, actually, like I know a lot of people, they might like on a Wednesday or Thursday do another little quick meal prep, just some extra stuff they'll have for the weekend. And I find that makes a massive difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference, because I feel like weekends we're more busy doing, different stuff. And if we don't have our meals ready, it's going to be much easier to go off track. So prepping in advance, it makes a huge, huge difference. But can you tell me a little bit more about your journey, your bodybuilding journey to success and how everything started?
Okay, so I'll go back to how it started. So I started competing in probably about 2018. I started with the amateur shows like A and B and whatnot. I actually did a prep with my husband now. He was my boyfriend at the time, but we did a prep back then and it was really good. Obviously we weren't living together at the time because we were just dating. So probably a bit easier in that sense. So we started back then, and then I had a few years off to kind of grow, put on some muscle, because I did get very, very small, lost a lot of muscle. That prep, dieted down very hard for that show, so I'm quite low calorie. So I really wanted to work on rebuilding, my metabolism, my health. My health wasn't in the best kind of state at that point, I think, because I just dieted too hard for too long. So I gave myself a good break and I wanted to transition into IFBB. Like anyone that knows IFBB, it's a very elite stage. It's one of the bigger comps. So that was my big goal. And with that, I did change coaches and move to a coach that he focused a lot more on the health side and the hormones as well, which that's what I wanted. I wanted someone that would really guide me in the right path, and someone that would look out for my health, not just, let's just cut calories and get right down and sacrifice whatever. So he's really big on the health side of things and the mental side of things as well, which is great. So I went down that path. I started before COVID, but then COVID hit, so I wasn't able to do that show. And then it was really interesting actually, because in COVID, in lockdown, we did the whole home gym and got really good results from that. And that was really great as well for me to show people that you can do it from home, doesn't have to be in a gym. So that was really good. So I was still able to obviously hold on to a lot of muscle that I developed. And then, last year I stepped on the IFBB stage for the first time, did really well. It's a very tough competition, IFBB. There's heaps of girls really stacked up. And I think from there, I just loved it. I do have a very big goal. So I am chasing a pro card, which is something that can take it depends really, but for some people it takes a lot of time, takes a fair few years.
Yeah.
So it is a goal. I feel like the competing side of things has taken a priority in my life because I do have a big goal. It's not just something that I do love it and I want to have fun with it, but I do go in there to get a placing and get my pro card. So it is a big goal. It is a lot of pressure because, you know, it's taken some people 5-6 years to get there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you know, like I feel like I'm ready and it's only my second year with the IFBB. So I'm really trying to push for that, and that's the end goal. But yeah, we'll see how we go with that. My husband's not doing it at the moment. He's, you know, like work's really taken a priority for him, and he's just pretty much like, I want to follow your dream. So he's
I love that.
Yeah, and he's like really happy with me to you know, make that a priority in our life at the moment, which is good. This is another thing for anyone listening. It's really important when you do anything in life to have a supportive partner or just supportive family, friends. Like when you do these types of things, and you will probably know this as well, you really like, people say it all the time, but you don't realize, like, you see who your true friends are. You see who your true family, you know,
100%. Yeah.
You know, and it's like the people that understand what you're going, sacrifices that you have to make. And I guess no one really understands until they experience it. But there's that are like, you know what, like, I understand that's a priority. Like whatever you need, I'm here. And they don't, you know, they don't kind of resent you or for what you're doing in your life. So I think that's really important. And yeah, for anyone listening to this, I think that's a big thing. And I know that you've mentioned it before, is having good surroundings, like a good friendship circle, family. Like it's hard. Although, you know, family is family, at the end of the day, not every single family member is going to be supportive. So you really need to just make sure that you surround yourself and make it clear to your family, like, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, they've got to accept that. At the end of the day, like, you've got one life, and if you have big goals, you should be able to achieve them. Like, you know, we've got to take risks in life. And I think that's what I've learned. I'm sure you've learned that taking a risk with your career, everything, it's worth it. And you get so much satisfaction out of doing things for yourself. And I think, yeah, that's a really important message. So, yeah, I'm just really trying to go for that pro card, a lot of pressure. And obviously I did place last year at the state show, so that show's coming up. So I've got a bit of pressure to place at that as well. That might not happen. So I think at the moment I've just got that pressure, just trying to stay calm. But yeah, that's pretty much my journey with competing and where I'm going. I'm competing in Japan in November.
Nice. Wow.
So really excited for that. A big year, and then we'll see where this year takes us. And yeah, that's pretty much it with competing, and just trying to work. And yeah, like, I'm doing it, and it's just like, surprisingly, I actually feel pretty good. Like, I think it's like you said, just having that balance, and I'm controlling what I can control. Everything else that comes and goes, like, it's out of your control. I'm just controlling what you can control. I think is really important. You know? And I think once you learn that, it's like, I used to always think like, oh my gosh, I want to have control over every single thing. And it's like, no, there's something you can't. You've just got to focus on what you can. So yeah, that's pretty much my journey with that. So
and I can see like how excited you're getting just by telling me this and like all the goals that you want to achieve. But I want to mention two things. Something really quick about how you talk about like having a supportive environment is so important. And you do realize who your true friends are when you're in this journey, like any journey that you want to do, not just with bodybuilding, but if you're trying to reach your goals and you're just making time for your goals. I remember, just quickly sharing my experience, like 2 seconds. I remember when I was competing like 4 years ago, some friends that I used to have, obviously I was not making time for them because I was so busy at uni. I was so busy working. I was busy prepping, because prepping takes a lot of time and you have no energy left to give to people or anything like that. So this friend just messaged me all of a sudden. She pretty much said like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because you don't make the time for me. And I was like, excuse me, what? That just took me by surprise. And I was like, okay, first of